And he had a couple of surgeries. And after about 2.5 years, there was this clinical trial that he found out about in California at City of Hope. And December 8th was the day that Markham and I flew out to get him into that clinical trial. The first day was going to be Monday, I think Monday the 9th.
And interestingly enough, December 8th was 4 weeks after he completed the New York City Marathon.
That's true.
Which was
That's right.
unbelievable given all he had been through, all his body had been through, all of the chemo, which, as we all know, is poison, and the surgeries and the stress and everything. He still had the passion to complete the...
Yep.
So you mentioned the clinical trial. We learned a lot about cancer, the process of cancer. I had a bit of PTSD going through it because I had gone through it with my mom in terms of, what doors open for you depending on your cancer and what doors close on you depending on your treatment options. And Memorial Sloan Kettering, kind of world-renowned cancer facility, had been doing all they could do for Markham for nearly 3 years, just under 3 years. And when they were kind of at the end of their treatment protocols, he did find a clinical trial based at the City of Hope just outside of Los Angeles. And it was a small trial. There was only 60 people involved in the trial. And there's a lot that you have to learn when you go through a clinical trial as well.
And one thing to note, too, is one of the reasons that people like Markham go into a trial is there's hope that this will help him, but also he's doing it for everyone who comes after him that has cancer, because maybe he, as a patient, can teach the doctor something that they need to learn. But just real quick, during this whole process from December 8th until Markham's passing 12 days ago, there were and are these moments of joy and memory that we are sitting on. And that is really helping Jody and I get through this difficult time.
I also think, so Markham was an adult. He was 38 years old when he was diagnosed. He was married. He had his person. They had their plans. They had their way of living. And as parents during this experience, we had to let them take the lead. I mean, they took the lead and made decisions on, treatment, therapy, travel that they were willing to do during all this time. And they really had a plan on how they were going to live their life, whether it be the next 20 years or the next 2 years. They were going to do it their way. And, for Mark and I, because we have tremendous respect for both Jennifer and Markham, we let that happen and gratefully let that happen, because as older people, as retired people, some decisions like let's go to a concert at Wembley Stadium in the middle of chemo treatment, as a parent, all I think about is compromised immune system, big crowds. Why are we doing this? But in retrospect, the conversations we were able to have with Markham and Jen towards the end of his life were their memories of all the things they had done in the past 3 years. So God bless that they took the lead on his treatment and their lives.
Yeah, and when Markham and I first flew out on December 8th to LA for the treatment that was starting that Monday, we got there that Monday. His numbers weren't good enough to get in the treatment. So the doctor said, I'm sorry, we can't start you today. And you have a week. Next Monday would be the last day that you would be able to get into the clinical trial. So we need to get your platelets up. So he was devastated. I was devastated. And we sat there and thought, well, what should we do? Should we fly back east and then come back next Sunday? And I said to him, why don't we just stay? Why don't we just stay and hang out?